What up, YouTube? I want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to be here. Thank you for watching my content. I want to say thank you from God and thank you from your spiritual team. It means so much that you take time out of your day to set aside to hear what Spirit has to say. And your entire spiritual team, your guides, your guardians, your angels, your ancestors, they're all here, right? And they all want to say thank you. So, thank you. Now, your card of the day is the Page of Cups, right? But it's in the reverse. And so this is an earth and water sign. The answer to any question you might have is yes. Pisces and Scorpio and Cancer. And this is a root chakra card. It says, broken dreams, creative blocks, emotional vulnerability, immaturity, and envy. Well, see, like I said in a previous video, what I've come to realize is that the cards are also a tool. Okay, so in the upright, the Page of Cups stands for freshness, idealism, bright future, creative opportunities, dreamer, and possibilities. So, but you got the reverse again, which is broken dreams, creative blocks, emotional vulnerability, immaturity, and envy. So, how do we turn this thing around? Well, the way we turn this thing around is you have emotional vulnerability. Okay? Now, the way that you have emotional vulnerability, okay? Now, because the way that you have emotional vulnerability is immaturity and envy. Okay. So I had the definitions backwards in my head. So envy makes sense. I personally, that's what I was thinking about. I personally don't envy anybody, right? And I don't try to hold on to, well, no, I hold on to things, but I don't try to hold on to being mad at somebody. I don't try to hold on to every day I wake up and I'm like, there was a girl on Game of Thrones, and I can't think of her name, but she was a badass. She had a sword called Needle, and every night before she would go to sleep, she'd say this list of names of people that she wanted. They were her enemies. She was gonna murk them, right? I don't have that. I had that at one point in time, but there's no need, right? Because each and every day that sweet girl went through that list of names, right? Now, I only ever watched the earlier episodes. I think I made it to like Game of Thrones season 3 or something like that. A lot of people in the house didn't like the violence in it and such as that, so I quit watching it for them. But that little girl, every night she was hurting herself. Okay, every night she would go through and she'd say that list of names. She was hurting herself, and so well, she was hurting herself with her voice, right? So what this might have a lot to do with is your communication, okay? And your emotional vulnerability comes out in your communication as something for you to be aware of. And you sound like you envy, rather you do or don't. You sound like you envy the situation or people in the situation, whatever this is that got you down. But I look at things from an inner point of view. And so when I see immaturity, I think to myself, now, I feel pretty okay with my situation, right? But there's still parts of it that hurt, right? And the truth of the matter is that the reason why they hurt is because I'm acting emotionally immature. Does that make sense? If I had the wisdom and already had achieved the growth, then I wouldn't be bothered, right? It's like a kid has all these emotions, right? They're busy going through these huge emotional swings right there in front of you. But an adult, that's the reason why an adult is supposed to watch a kid. An adult is grounded. An adult doesn't do this. An adult just sits there and goes, that's pretty funny. At least you're entertaining, right? But I think that the thing to focus on is the fact that it says immaturity. So you need to be emotionally responsible. Okay, if you're emotionally responsible, then you won't be vulnerable. Now, how, God, do you be emotionally responsible? How does that work, buddy? And so, so you have to take account for what it is that you emotionally feel. You have to take account for what it is that you're allowing yourself to feel. I see. If you touch a stove and it's hot and you know not to touch it again, right? Then why are you continuing to put yourself through the same emotions and pains and thoughts and the going through the same processes? If not on an everyday, then on a bi-weekly schedule, let's say, right? You do it to yourself, right? We all do it. It's human, okay? That's how come I don't say it. Like, we all do it. I've done it, okay? But why do you continue to touch that stove if you know it hurts, right? If you took actual emotional accountability, thank you, God. If you took actual emotional accountability, then you would take tally of the things that hurt you, and then you would just choose not to feel that way. So how do we do that? Okay, we do that by focusing, right? Broken dreams, creative blocks. We do that by focusing on our dreams and our creativity. Okay, that's I said this just the other day. You have this bubble, right, that you live in, which is your world, your little aquarium, okay? And the only way that you're ever going to get outside of your aquarium is through your imagination, okay? Because otherwise, it is without imagination. Think about this. Without imagination, it is inconceivable to get out of the aquarium. You would never think to do so. Do you get me? The second that you realize that there was a glass there or a wall there or something that you couldn't overcome, you just, okay, right? Kind of like you should be with emotionally responsible. When you realize that something burns, something hurts, something, right? Then it's not the world that has to take accountability for your emotions. It's you that has to take accountability for your emotions. And the way that you do that is by setting up processes for dealing with these things. Okay, it's gonna hurt. These things, they always hurt. That's not the point. The point is, do you stay there or not? Okay, if you practice the art of detachment, right? Check this out. I love you, and I want to do the best for you, and I want us to have the most positive relationship we can have. But check this out, right? We're not going down a road of emotionally attacking each other because we're choosing to be emotionally negative at the time, right? Like it is hard. It's hard for everybody, right? But you need to practice that. You need to practice That was just an example. You need to practice, not the not engaging, because I've heard that so many times, and there comes a point, there's a certain amount of your life, if not all of it, that you should be engaged in, right? It's your life, okay? But when they say don't engage, right? Again, you have to have a certain amount of engagement in order to even have any form of a life, right? But you need emotional engagement, okay? You need to engage yourself by paying attention to what your thoughts are, and by paying attention to how you emote, okay? If it hurts, try not to do it again, right? We're all human, we all stumble, we all have things that happen, and you know, even Hercules, you know, if either Hercules well, yeah, he was a god. Hercules the god, or Hercules a man, a super powerful body lifter, woman, who cares, a super powerful body lifter, right? They're gonna have days, right, where they don't want to feel like Hercules, right? And when they get there, if they're an emotionally responsible being, then they will have matured enough to have processes in order to handle these things, right? So like one of the processes that I used to do that turned out not to be the best was dealing with depression, right? So the way I used to deal with depression is that because I had been suicidal at a young age, the best way to deal with depression has nothing to do with getting angry, right? And so what I would do is, because it was the easiest way to just blow off the steam and not have to feel that way, is I would switch straight from being suicidal and depressive to being angry and aggressive, right? I just did, and that worked for me for a long time, because I didn't want to deal with a lot of people, so not a lot of people came around because I was aggressive. And sometimes I get upset because certain people didn't want to have anything to do with me, and it had gotten to the point to where I no longer realized I was being aggressive. But so that would be a prime example of emotional immaturity, right? That's not how we handle things. If you think about it, that's how children handle their emotions. That, you know, and it's fine, we all do it, but I'm saying an emotionally balanced and emotionally processed person is going to say, hey, I choose not, and I do this now, I choose not to suddenly jump to anger. I do sometimes, but I choose not to suddenly jump to anger, because I realize that when I do, I'm going to screw things up around me, right? It's never going to come out the best. And the truth of the matter is that, like, sure, you might have lots of opportunities and things coming your way, right? But truth of the matter is that if you get angry and aggressive, you're gonna run those opportunities off. It's gonna happen, right? They're gonna, especially the really good ones, right? They're gonna take one step towards you and be like, "Oh, is this a bad day, or is this how they are?" Right? And in some cases, that might be how you are. But the problem is that you take opportunities that could help you emotionally grow and be more mature, right? And real blessings, the really big ones, and they would be able to help you through these things, but you scare them off, right? And so the biggest thing to tell you is, like I say, focus on your emotional responsibility, and your dreams and your creativity will no longer be blocked. Okay? All right. Love you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right. Later.